We're going to do some more scale tone triads here. Hopefully get through 3 sets of strings. I'm going to do the root on top this time. I swear one day you'll thank me for this. Your triads are 3-note scales. They're built on the 1, 3, and 5. The major is 1, 3, 5. Minor is 1 minor 3, 5 or flat 3, 5. And the diminished has a flat 3 or a minor 3 and a flat 5 or a diminished 5th. We're going to do them on the top set of strings first in F. So like before, we want to see our major scale. F major would be whole, whole, half, like everything else, whole, 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 half. That gives us a B flat on the 6th fret. An F major triad is F, A, and C. I never memorized the order they're coming in. One of my teachers said you had to memorize them, that if it's root on top, you have to know that it's 3, 5, and root. But if you know that you're playing F, A, and C and you look at your guitar, you can see automatically where those notes are. There's my A, there's my C, and there's my F. You already know it from this F chord, this, or this. So I'm just playing the top 3 notes. So that's your major chord 1. The G will be minor. That's G, D, and B flat. The minor third is on the bottom string here. Again, you know this either from this G minor or the bar chord G minor. So these 2 chords we already know, we're just playing the top chunks of them. So F, whole step to G minor, whole step to A minor, half step as always to the 4 chord. The B flat, the C is the 5 at the C is the 5 at the 8th fret, D minor, E is the diminished chord. So here's your root, 5, and flat 3. Now we flat the 5. Again, this looks like taking a major chord and raising the root. It also looks like a dominant 7 when we get the right inversions. So the 5 chord in F is C7. E diminished would be the top chunk of that C7. Just remove the C from it. And then we're back at F at the end. So 1, 1, and 2, 3, 3, 3, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, and 7, 8, 8, and 9, handful of 10s, 12, 11, and 12 for diminished to F. I'm going to rush you right along and do the exact same thing on the next set of strings on a C chord. We're looking again at 3rd, 5th, and 1st. Usually I wouldn't have practiced these with C's. I would have started with D so that I didn't bother with any open strings. I like this shape visually, but we'll see that that comes up later anyway. So what we've got on the 2nd string is C, open 3rd string, which would be 1 fret behind the C, and the E note, the 3rd. So that's major. Whole step up is to the D minor. Rather than having an F sharp, you'll have an F natural, the flat 3. So major, minor, minor. Now we see the major without an open string. 6, 5, and 7 for the F. So this is actually the same shape as the C, where we would be playing the nut with our pointer. C, major, D minor, E minor, F major, 5 chord is G, major, A is minor. We got to flat this 5 in the middle to give us a diminished. And then we've got our C here. Again, one more time, the diminished would look like a major chord where this root has to go up a fret. So going back, we have C, B diminished, A minor. Notice the diminished looks like a stretched out minor. G major, F major, E minor, D minor, C. So that's the first set of strings I did in F. Just so you know, they look like the F chord. Second set of strings based on the C. Next we have an A. The A is on the 3rd string, the E is its 5th, and the C sharp is its 3rd. So 1, 5, 3. If I move up a whole step to B, the 3 is flatted. So now I'm going to go 4, 4, and 5 for frets. Root 5, flat 3. C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor, G diminished, and A. Sorry, G sharp diminished, F sharp minor, E, D, C sharp, B, and A. This chord you would know as A over C sharp. We'll have seen that before, but we're playing the A, E, and C sharp here. Hang on a moment while I write these out. Here we can look at each of our major triads, the F, C, and A being the root 5 and 3 on the top set of strings. If we put in this F note, you'd see how that is just your regular F chord. There's your shape for that top set of strings triad. C, C, G, and E, there's your picture there. Again, if I put a C down here, you can see your regular C chord. A, with A, E, and C sharp, this shape here, is not as usual. We don't see A over C sharp as often, but that is a version and a shape you would like to learn. As we move the F key up to G, we get G, D, and B flat. So your minor chords are 3 notes in a row. A will be the same. B flat is major, so it's this shape. C is major, again, this shape, just like the F chord. D is minor. And the E has to be diminished. It's got the B flat, the flat 5, and the G. So there you see that one that looks like a C, dominant 7. On the C chord, the next version, the minor chord has the root, the 5, and the 3 in alignment. So A, D, and F lined up in that triangle shape. E would look the same with a B and a G. This F shape is a really primary shape you want to know. This angle here. Middle finger on the root, pointer on the 5, ring finger on the 3. Learn these ones especially well. There's your G major, same shape. A minor is that smaller triangle again with the E and the C. The diminished chord has to stretch out a little bit more. So we reach back to the F and have the D here. Notice it's the same triangle as the minor, except stretched an extra fret. And C, G, and E at the end. That's your second set of strings. Your third set of strings, the minors really start to look kind of nice. I'll get this C sharp out of your way. B and F sharp and D, where you grab the bar for the 1 and 5 and just use your second finger on the 3 on the bottom. So root 5 and flat 3 there. C sharp would have the same shape again. The D would be major, so it's F sharp, third is over here. E has its G sharp over here. You would call these D over F sharp, E over G sharp. Here's the F sharp with the C sharp and the A for a minor. For the diminished, the 5 has to be flatted back here, and the 3 is flat relative to the G sharp note. And in A, we're back to the A, and let's add a fret so I can get a C sharp there. So the diminished has the flat 5, a fret off of the root there, and the flat 3, a fret higher than the root, just like in the minor chords. Once again, don't forget that your scale tone triads are major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished major. The major is a 1-3-5, the minors have a flat or a minor 3, and the diminished has a flat or minor 3 and a flat 5 or a diminished 5th. One more time, I'll just give you the shapes. A major triad with the root on top, on the top set of strings, would be root 5, 3. Minor, root 5, flat 3. Diminished, root flat 5, flat 3. On the next set of strings, say we're doing an E major, you'd have E, B, and G sharp, root 5, 3, minor, we flat the 3, so there's a G natural, diminished, we flat the 5. So we're stretched out here. Fret 5 for this one, 3 and 5. And that's an E diminished. It's got a B flat and a G natural. And then on this C major, on the third set of strings, the C is on the third string. It's 5, the G is on the fourth string at the 5th fret, and E, its third, is sticking out here at the 7th. This would be a C chord over an E note. C over E is how you'll notice this in your normal playing. Lower the E, flat it to E flat. You have the minor. Lower the 5, the G is now flat. You can hear that nice diminished sound. And there's your flat 3, the diminished chord. Trying to resolve to something above. So those are your scale tone triads, root on top on the first, second, and third set of strings. We could have done the fourth set, but it's identical to the third set. So we could do E, B, and G sharp. Major, minor, minor. Notice they're not as good sounding with the 3 on the bass string. So they're not as popular. You may end up liking them for some reason or another, but they're not usually practiced as much as the others. So I swear, if you play a lot and you get around your guitar, you're going to enjoy these. Right now I know it's a little bit tedious. Oh well, if you like learning, you like learning. Have a good one. See you later.